Human rights are the basic rights and freedoms that every person is entitled to, regardless of their background. These rights are essential for a just and equitable society. However, the growing gap between the rich and the poor poses a significant threat to the realization of these rights for all. Economic inequality, the uneven distribution of wealth and resources, creates barriers to opportunity, undermines social cohesion, and fuels discrimination. In an ideal world, everyone would have equal access to essential resources and opportunities. Unfortunately, the reality is far from this ideal. The concentration of wealth in the hands of a few has created a system where many struggle to meet their basic needs. This disparity undermines the very foundation of human rights, leaving millions vulnerable and marginalized. The consequences of this imbalance are far-reaching, impacting access to healthcare, education, housing, and even justice. It is a global issue that demands urgent attention and collective action. We must bridge this divide and strive for a world where everyone's rights are respected and upheld, regardless of their economic status. The consequences of economic inequality are evident on a global scale. In many developing countries, millions lack access to basic necessities such as clean water, food, and healthcare. This disparity is often exacerbated by unfair trade practices, historical injustices, and the effects of climate change, which disproportionately impact poorer nations. The lack of access to essential resources leads to a vicious cycle of poverty, malnutrition, and disease. Children born into poverty face an uphill battle from the outset, with limited opportunities for education and personal growth. This perpetuates the cycle of inequality, denying generations their chance to break free from the shackles of poverty. Furthermore, economic inequality fuels conflict and instability. When resources are scarce and a select few control the majority of wealth, tensions rise, leading to social unrest and violence. This instability further undermines human rights, creating an environment of fear and insecurity. The global community must work together to address the root causes of economic inequality. This includes promoting fair trade practices, providing debt relief to developing countries, and investing in sustainable development initiatives. The impact of economic inequality is not confined to developing countries. It is also a pressing issue in wealthy nations. Even in societies with high average incomes, the gap between the rich and poor can be staggering, leading to a range of social problems. In these societies, the lack of affordable housing forces many to live in overcrowded and inadequate conditions. Access to quality healthcare becomes a luxury, with those from lower socioeconomic backgrounds often facing barriers to timely and effective treatment. The education system, too, can perpetuate inequality, with underfunded schools in disadvantaged neighborhoods failing to provide children with the same opportunities as their wealthier peers. This disparity in access to essential services perpetuates a cycle of poverty and disadvantage. Children born into poverty are more likely to experience health problems, drop out of school, and end up in low-paying jobs. This cycle of disadvantage can be difficult to break, leading to entrenched poverty and social exclusion. The detrimental effects of economic inequality on human rights are not merely anecdotal, they are backed by a growing body of evidence. Numerous studies have documented the correlation between income inequality and a range of social ills, including higher crime rates, poorer health outcomes, and reduced social mobility. For instance, research by the World Health Organization has shown a strong link between income inequality and life expectancy. People living in countries with greater income disparities tend to have shorter lifespans, even when controlling for factors such as overall wealth. This highlights the fact that it's not just about the total wealth of a nation, but how that wealth is distributed that impacts the well-being of its citizens. Furthermore, studies have shown that high levels of income inequality can erode social trust and cohesion. When people perceive a system as inherently unfair, they are less likely to trust institutions and more likely to engage in risky or antisocial behavior. This can lead to a breakdown in social order and make it more difficult to address collective challenges. Section 5. Bridging the Gap Solutions for a More Equitable World. Addressing the complex issue of economic inequality requires a multifaceted approach. There is no single solution, but rather a combination of policies and initiatives that can help create a more just and equitable society. One crucial step is to promote decent work opportunities and ensure fair wages for all. This involves strengthening labor rights, promoting collective bargaining, and raising the minimum wage to a living wage. By ensuring that everyone who works can earn a decent living, we can lift millions out of poverty and reduce income disparities. In addition to promoting fair employment practices, governments must invest in social safety nets to support those who are struggling. This includes providing access to affordable healthcare, education, and housing. By ensuring that everyone has access to these essential services, we can create a more level playing field and provide everyone with the opportunity to thrive. Section 6. Education and Empowerment. Investing in human potential. Education plays a pivotal role in breaking the cycle of poverty and promoting social mobility. By investing in quality education for all, we empower individuals with the knowledge and skills they need to succeed in life. This includes providing universal access to early childhood education, ensuring that all children have a strong foundation for learning. It also means investing in quality primary and secondary education, with a focus on developing critical thinking skills, creativity, and problem-solving abilities. Furthermore, we must expand access to affordable higher education and vocational training programs. By making education accessible to all, we create a more skilled and productive workforce, boosting economic growth and reducing inequality. Section 7. Fair taxation and social safety nets, redistributing resources. A fair and progressive tax system is essential for funding social programs and redistributing wealth more equitably. This means ensuring that corporations and high-income earners pay their fair share, while providing tax breaks and credits to low- and middle-income families. These tax revenues can then be used to fund crucial social programs, such as healthcare, education, and social security. By strengthening these safety nets, we can provide a cushion for those who are struggling, and ensure that everyone has access to basic necessities. Furthermore, governments can implement policies such as inheritance taxes and wealth taxes to address the concentration of wealth at the very top. These measures can help to level the playing field and prevent the intergenerational transfer of inequality. Section 8. Global Cooperation, a unified front against inequality. Addressing global inequality requires international cooperation and solidarity. Developed nations have a responsibility to assist developing countries in their efforts to reduce poverty and promote sustainable development. This includes providing financial assistance, promoting fair trade practices, and supporting initiatives that address climate change, which disproportionately impacts poorer nations. By working together, we can create a more just and equitable world for all. International organizations, such as the United Nations, play a crucial role in setting global standards, promoting human rights, and facilitating cooperation between nations. By working within these frameworks, we can leverage collective action to address systemic issues and create a more equitable global order. Section 9. Conclusion. A call for justice and equality. Economic inequality poses a significant threat to the realization of human rights for all. It creates barriers to opportunity, undermines social cohesion, and fuels discrimination. Addressing this issue is not only a moral imperative but also essential for building a more just, equitable, and sustainable world. By investing in education, promoting decent work, ensuring fair taxation, strengthening social safety nets, and fostering global cooperation, we can create a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive, regardless of their socio-economic background. The fight for economic justice is a fight for human rights. It is a fight for a world where everyone has the opportunity to live a life of dignity and fulfillment. It is a fight that demands our attention.